What's going on, guys? This is JT here.
He's good
He's purchased everything in
at this game, but
Blizzard developers
put all his gaming knowledge, his whole heart into assembling this.
shop.
I have to believe that it holds some secret strategy. This card is useless.
Don't know the power
Of gaming on the
dark side.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It's your boy Darth Shigon coming at ya with another video from Gaming on the Dark Side. Thanks for joining me, guys. This week we're going to be talking about the Boon of Plenty in Diablo Immortal. Now, for a lot of players who've been playing for a while, I mean the game's been out for what, about 8 months or so. You guys know all about the Boon of Plenty, and you probably don't even need to really worry about the video that much. But, you know, I've been playing for a bit myself, obviously, since it launched. And, you know, the Boon of Plenty is something that I've purchased every month, and I really want to look at it. Is it worth it? Now, for me, I have my reasons why I do it, and I'll go over that later. But I just figured I'd break this thing down. If you're a newer player or someone coming into the game, it's worth watching because you can see, hey, is this worth me spending my money on? And if you're someone who's been playing for a while, and you might think, like, do I want to keep buying this thing? Or maybe I never bought it in the past. Is it worth it? Hey, who knows? If anything, guys, I do appreciate you taking the time to listen. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Alright, so the Boon of Plenty is something you can find in the shop under the services tab right next to the battle pass. As you can see, it's a 30-day thing for 10 bucks basically, US dollars, right? So you guys gotta translate that to whatever currency you are, wherever you live. You're watching this someplace other than the United States. Now, one thing I want to clear up really quickly, which really confused me at first, was this whole thing that says stacks up to 90 days of rewards, right? So it shows a 3 out of 3. Now, at first, I thought if I bought this thing 3 times, that I would get triple the rewards, and it'd be awesome. But no, that's not what happens. Basically, all you're doing when you do that is you're pre-buying for it to continue. So after 30 days, rather than having to renew it for 10 bucks, it's already renewed and it keeps on going. Now, the only benefit to that is that on the 31st day, I want to say it is, right? So right after it would have ran out, the way it rolls over, you get that 5th day, and it basically becomes where you get 2 of the orange legendary crests. So that's how you're able to get that extra bonus crest, which is kind of cool. If you're going to keep it going, you might as well. So usually what I do is I wait until about 2 or 3 days before it's going to run out, and I just renew it so I don't forget. And that way, I'm always getting that extra bonus crest. Otherwise, you lose out on that, and then when you renew again, you're starting from scratch, and you just get the normal stuff, which isn't bad, but I mean, heck, 1 crest is 1 crest. It really doesn't hurt. But there really isn't a need to pre-buy for 90 days, unless you know that you're very forgetful and you don't want to worry about it for 3 months. Well, that's up to you, but there really is no other benefit to pre-buying the Battle Pass. Just keep that in mind. I'm not Battle Pass, my bad. The Boon of Plenty. So just keep that in mind as you guys are going. So digging into this thing here, quick overview, right? To purchase the Boon of Plenty, you receive instant benefits, right? You get your inventory expanded, your remote market access, additional market trading slots, and additional stash tab, plus 30 days of daily gifts. So I'm going to cover each one of these separately as we go through this. Let's start with the Boon's benefits. Let's start with some expanded inventory. You're going to get 6 more rows of inventory space in your bags. So that's going to make it easier for you to carry more loot before you have to go to the blacksmith and turn it in. Which, I mean, granted, since there's blacksmiths in every dungeon, that's not so bad. But if you're world farming, being able to be out there a little bit longer is always a good thing. Next up is going to be remote market access. So this is great for those people that like to play the market, right? You're trying to get yourself a legendary gem, or maybe some of the regular gems. You got some you want to sell, or some you want to just tuck on and make sure you're able to grab them and all that. This is going to help out. Like I said, once again, you don't have to go to town now to access the market, right? You can do it on the fly, wherever you are. And, I mean, it helps. It does help for some people, because some people definitely like to play the market. And the stash space. You guys will get an extra tab of stash space added for as long as you have this benefit open, right? So basically, storage space has been a factor in the game since it started. We've only had 1 tab for a long time. So if you were like collecting a lot of set pieces, or you want to hold on to certain gems or legendary items, maybe you have different equipment because you want some stuff for PvP, and you have your PvE builds, and you have your vault builds, and you have, you know, whatever, your raid builds and your shadow war builds. I mean, it all depends on how you guys are doing your gear. More space is always a good thing, but we didn't have any, right? It was limited. But now with the Boon of Plenty, if you have this activated every month, you'll have access to an extra space. Now, one of my other videos, I talked about expanding space, that you can permanently expand an extra slot for 2,000 platinum. That's not bad. This will give you a third slot, so you will have 3 stash spaces total if you're going all in, which once again, if you are a farmer and someone that likes to, collect things, it's going to be a benefit. Next up, let's talk about the daily goodies, things you're going to get every single day. Alright, so if you log in every day with the Boon of Plenty, you are going to get yourself a single tourmaline, which is a red gem, every single day. Now that means you're going to get 30 of these bad boys throughout the course of your Boon of Plenty. Tourmaline is at least my favorite gem because it just adds straight damage, and the faster you kill things, the less they kill you. However, there are other gems that are important too, don't get me wrong, but tourmalines are great, and with the added benefits that some of these gems are going to be getting here very soon, that's going to even increase the value of these even more. So to get 30 is not bad. We'll cover exactly how much that translates into later, but let's see what else we get when we log in every single day. In addition to those tourmalines, if you log in every single day, you're going to get yourself a blue rare crest. You'll be using these in your Elder Rifts. They guarantee that you get yourself some runes, which you can trade in for gems and other stuff. But also, guys, every once in a blue moon, because actually more than that, you can actually score a 1-star gem off these bad boys too. I didn't know that for a while, but I kept knocking them out, and yeah, I mean, you get those 1-star gems every now and then with these rare crests. So it's pretty cool. You get 30 of them. They do have a value, which we'll cover later on. In addition to those daily rewards, you also got yourself legendary gems and legendary crests. Now, the legendary crests are going to be claimed for every 5 days you log in. So that's on day 5, day 10, and day 15. As well as days 20, 25, and 30 of all those logins, you'll get the legendary crest. Now, on days 20 and 25, you'll also score yourself a Fervent Fang. So let's take a look at those legendary crests first so you guys know exactly what they do. Like your regular rare crests, the legendary crests are used during the Elder Rifts, but this one here is going to give you a guaranteed bound legendary gem. It could be a 1-star, it could be a 2-star, or it could be a 5-star gem. It's all kind of a roll of the dice, guys. Most of the time it's a 1-star, but hey, they do have a pity system. For every 50 runs you do, you will get a 5-star. So just keep racking them up, and eventually you're going to get yourself a 5-star. And if you're like me, it'll usually be the same exact one over and over again. The next thing that comes in the pass is going to be the Fervent Fang. Now, this is a unique legendary gem. It's a 2-star gem that you can only get in the Boon of Plenty and the battle passes. You can't get it anywhere else. You can't craft it. It doesn't drop. You can't buy it anywhere. It only shows up in these 2 places. Now, the Boon of Plenty, you will get 2 of them over the course of the 30 days, which is pretty cool. And I mean, if you're just someone looking for a legendary gem, this is not too bad. I mean, look at the stats here that it does. Each time you deal damage to an enemy, that enemy is now going to take increased damage from your attacks. And that increased damage stacks 10 times. So at level 1, it stacks up to 8% extra damage. So, I mean, that's not too bad at all. When you hit level 5, it'll increase your magic find. And it also increases damage you do to elite enemies. So this is a great one to have equipped when you're doing like raid bosses. If you're like in even in PvP, it's good too, right? Because you're gonna be bashing the same people over and over again. You'll have increased damage as you're going. The elite damage really is cool though. Like I said, when you're fighting bosses, my damage is pretty cool. Let me show you what mine looks like right now. My Fervent Fang is at rank 9. You can see here that each time I deal damage to an enemy, it's going to take 2% extra, 2.05% extra, for a maximum of 20.5% at 10 stacks. Now, if it's an elite monster, it's going to take a flat 6% increase damage as well. So that's a total of 26.5% extra damage when I'm attacking elite creatures that allow me to hit it up to 10 times and keep on going. And that does count for bosses and all that. It's not a bad buff to have at all, like especially for a gem that I don't have to really buy per se, because it comes in this Boon of Plenty and the season pass, which I do anyways. I mean, and also it's great to have and keep on going. Not like any gem, you know, it takes time to level it up, and the fact that you can't craft these gems, that you can't buy them or you can't find them anywhere else, does make it a slow go to get it all the way up. I am curious to see what happens at rank 10 and what happens when you awaken it. What other gems it would take to, you know, go past it. I'm very, very curious, and as soon as that happens, I will definitely be making a video and showing everybody what a level 10 Fervent Fang looks like. Alright, let's keep on going. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the Boon of Plenty by the numbers. There's just, like I said, a quick breakdown, just a couple of caveats. When it comes to the math, I usually try to pick some of the most basic numbers or things I can find within the game. I look at just the actual dollar value of things. If something's intangible, like a service, right, like the extra stash or something like that, I can't actually quantify that, right? That's going to be very subjective to the individual. I can only look at things that actually cost money and that we can purchase, and I use that to kind of establish a value. Alright, so as we've already established, the actual Boon of Plenty is $9.99 in US dollars, right? Obviously, you got to translate that to your own currency if you're in a different country and all. It's going to be 30 days of benefits and loot. Alright, so let's look at the extra benefits first. Now remember, these are going to be intangible in the sense that they don't really have a monetary value tied to them. It's going to be very subjective based on your gameplay and what you feel they can do. So we start off with an inventory expansion. It's going to give you 6 extra rows of inventory space, so while you're running around farming, doing things, you're able to grab 6 more rows worth of stuff before you have to run to the blacksmith and turn it in, which helps out because, trust me, as you guys get higher up in level, it's going to cost a grip of materials to upgrade your equipment. Remote market access is interesting because it allows you to access the market from wherever you are in the game. So let's say you want to check out the price of the latest legendary gem you got in that rift, or maybe you wanted to grab yourself a couple extra gems. You can access the market remotely, so you don't have to go all the way back to Westmarch to do it. So I mean, it's useful if you want to play the market. You're kind of trying to keep track of maybe a gem you saw that's, you know, going to be going on sale soon, and it's at a really great price, and you don't want to miss out on it. Well, remote access to the market is a great thing. To go along with your remote market access, you also get some extra market trade slots. This allows you to have more gems on the market at a time. So if you're really into trying to sell and play the market, having those extra trade slots will come in handy, because for some reason, certain gems and things, you can sell them, but then you can't collect the money for a certain amount of time, right? Like it just sits there and it says, hey, you can't collect this for a few hours or whatever the heck it is. I don't know why they do that. It's very frustrating. You know, you think like, oh, hey, I just want to sell this thing and get my money right away. Just give me my money. But it makes you wait. And so that's annoying. So having the extra slots, if you're into that kind of stuff, does help. And last but not least, we got the big one here, an extra stash tab. For the longest time, people have been asking for more storage space in their characters, and they finally delivered it in the last update. You can get one for 2,000 platinum. It's like a permanent stash tab. And if you do the Boon of Plenty, you get yourself a stash tab as well. It's great for holding on to extra equipment, especially for the players that, you know, do a little PvP. They have their, you know, their Shadow War gear. They have, you know, their different outfits that they want to wear for, you know, different kinds of gameplay. Then it's a great place to do it. Maybe you're stacking a bunch of gems or you're holding on to some other things. That's where it's going to go in your stash space. So having that extra stuff does help. These things, like I said, though, are intangible. There's no cash value per se to them. It really is going to be up to the players that are using them in their gameplay, so it's very subjective. So I really couldn't give, you know, any monetary value to them in this assessment of mine. Alright, so now we can get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. What is the actual dollar value of the Boon of Plenty? Before I can get into that, we got to talk about how we're going to calculate actual bucks here. So we got to look at orbs and platinum to kind of get our values. I went with like the lowest base price for orbs that I could find, right? The 50 orbs for 99 cents. Basing it off of that, you get kind of an orb value price. Now, if you look at transferring those orbs into platinum, you find out that for every 5 platinum, it costs 1 orb. And so those are what the numbers I'm going to be using to kind of calculate out value from this point forward. So next we look at all the stuff you're actually going to get. So you have a total of 30 days of login rewards. During those 30 days, you're going to get 7 legendary crests, which are the bound ones, so the orange ones, 30 rare crests, the blue crests, and 30 tourmalines, as well as 2 fervent fangs, which are a 2-star gem. Each one of those gems is worth 4 gem power, because that's how I'm going to calculate cost later on. So that's a total of 8 gem power for those. Alright, so let's start off with the orange crest, the legendary crests. These here, the only way I could really calculate the value is trying to see where could I purchase them in the game, just straight up. And the easiest place to look at was one of the vendors. You can buy an orange crest for 1,600 platinum. So that's what I'm using as my base thing. That calculates out to about 160 orbs, which is about $2.64. So with 7 of those during the 30 days, that comes out to about $18.48 in value. As you can see, we're already double the amount of the cost of the Boon of Plenty, and that's just with these crests alone. Next up are the rare crests. These are the blue ones here. These ones here you can use to get basically your runes when you're running your Elder Rifts. Every once in a blue moon, though, you will get yourself a 1-star gem, so just keep that in mind. Now, you can purchase these from the vendor. The cheapest place I can find them in the game was for 200 platinum, straight up. That works out to 40 orbs, right? So about 66 cents per crest. 30 of those over the course of the month comes out to $19.80. Once again, that value is already there for us in that Boon of Plenty. You spent $10 on the Boon of Plenty, you got yourself your bound crests, the legendaries, and these rare crests. I mean, you're already making out very, very well. It's a great buy so far, in my opinion. Next up are the tourmalines. Now, these are a great gem because they just give you that damage, which I personally feel damage is a super important stat in the game because I am focusing mostly on PvE myself, and the faster I can kill monsters, the less damage they can do to me, and that's pretty much my focus. Now, on the 22nd of February, depending on when you've seen this and all that stuff, you might already be in the game, there will be additional benefits to these normal gems when you put them on your gear, and that's just going to increase the subjective value. Now, I'm looking at where you can get them. Now, obviously, you can farm these. You can get them doing hidden lairs and running around the overworld in a group of 4 people and all that stuff. But the big place you're going to get them is the marketplace. And tourmalines are one of the most popular gems, so they typically are going for full price, which is 400 platinum. You can find them cheaper. I know you guys can. But now let's just go with the highest price, just so we can kind of have something to stay with, right? 400 platinum, you're looking at 80 orbs. That's about $1.32 per tourmaline. And you're going to get 30 of these over the course of the month. That's $39.60. That's almost $40. That's 4 times the value, or I should say what you've spent now on the Boon of Plenty just for the tourmalines alone. So, like I said, this Boon of Plenty, guys, is really, really, really worth it if you want to, really get some good value in the game from the dollars you want to invest, if you're going to invest dollars in the game. Alright, so now we're going to come to the Fervent Fang, and this is where it's going to get pretty controversial, or at least I should say, once again, very subjective. Because for some people, they're going to want to hold on to their Fervent Fangs and actually use the legendary gem, right? And the only place you can get Fervent Fangs is in the Boon of Plenty and in the Battle Pass. That's the only place you can get this particular legendary gem. So if you want to level this gem up, you will need plenty of duplicates. So you're going to want to be getting the Boon of Plenty to do it. And like I said, in that case, then there really isn't so much of a dollar value associated with the gem, because the gem is going into your character and there's no real way of buying it or even really selling it, right? You can't do anything with it. Now, you can convert it to gem power. So if you're just using this so you can level up other gems, well, with that, I can put a price on that. Now, each 2-star gem is worth 4 gem power. Now, you can get gem power in the game by going to the market and buying 1-star gems. You can find gem power for as low as 800 platinum, sometimes even lower if you're really lucky. But for the most part, we're looking at about 800 to 1,000 platinum per gem power. So using the 800, right, times 4 gem power, that's going to be 3,200 platinum, which works out to about 640 orbs, right? So that comes out to, using our calculations on what orb costs, to about $10.56 per Fervent Fang. Now you get 2 of these in this battle pass, the Boon of Plenty, so that means it's going to be $21.12 just in gem power value that you're getting from these Fervent Fangs. That's if you're just trading them in for gem power to level up other gems. Right? So like I said, it does have a lot of actual value in the game, as well as has a great subjective value, because I personally am trying to level up my Fervent Fang all the way. I'm really curious to see what this thing looks like at level 10 and what it's going to have when you awaken it as the additional resonance spots, what gems are going to go in there and all that. I'm just really curious. And I'm also very curious to see what happens after you've leveled up a Fervent Fang to level 10. Does your battle pass and other stuff change? Is there another crazy gem that's going to be in the game? Who knows? We'll find out, though, in, I want to say, about 3-4 weeks at the most. I should have my gem all the way up to level 10. I've been trying. It's not something I can rush because, like I said, you cannot buy this anywhere in the game. You can't craft it. You can only get them from the Boon of Plenty and the Battle Pass. All right, so let's tally up the costs, or I should say the values here, right? So legendary crests, $18.48. Rare crests, $19.80. Tourmalines, $39.60. And just pure gem power, you're looking at $21.12 for a total dollar value of 99 bucks. Basically a 10-time value for the price that you paid for the Boon of Plenty at $9.99. That's what you're getting, right, guys? You're getting 10 times what you've invested. And just for comparison's sake, the other thing that's worth $9.99 in the game you can get pretty regularly is the Rift Runner supplies. You get 6 legendary crests and 4 Telluric Pearls. I worked the math out on that, and it basically comes out to about $27.39 in value when you look at that, which is nothing compared to the $99 worth of value you get with the Boon of Plenty, and you get way more stuff. So $99 worth of purchase value is in that Boon of Plenty. So is it worth it? I personally feel yes. If you are going to invest in the game, right? I mean, the game is free to play. You do not have to spend a single dime in this game if you don't want to. But, obviously it costs money to make the game. It costs money to maintain the game. It costs money for them to be able to pay people to keep putting more stuff in the game. And if you're truly enjoying the game, and this is the game that you spend a lot of time in and you play it and you really want to get stuff out of it, hey, and you toss a little money back at the developers, $10 a month isn't a huge thing. And you get quite a bit of value for that $10. You get a lot of value, actually. You're going to get yourself 7 legendary gems, guaranteed. Most likely all freaking 1 stars if you have my kind of luck. But it is possible to get yourself a 5-star gem. It does happen. It does happen, right? So, overall, guys, I personally think it's a great value. At the end of the day, though, it really will be up to you, though, to decide, is it worth the money? Is it really worth having? I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like for me after I hit a level 10 Fervent Fang, because that's pretty much the reason why I'm doing it. Granted, yes, I love the other stuff, but I've been doing it just for the Fang. If the Fang wasn't in there, I probably wouldn't be buying it as often as I am. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's my opinion on that. Cool. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. The video was definitely longer than I intended. However, as if you guys have ever watched my videos, I do tend to just, kind of drone on, right, and gab about stuff. I do really want to look at the Battle Pass and see if it's worth it as well. Break down the cost for you guys. Like I said, most of you guys have been playing this game for probably quite some time. However, there are new players coming in, and if a new player has happened to find this video, hopefully it does help you out in deciding whether or not you want to invest some money in the game. Maybe you figure out, hey, this is not the best buy for me, I want to spend it in something else. That's totally cool. I hope you guys, if you made it all the way through this video, you at least smash that like button. Just freaking crush it. That'd be great. If you didn't like the video, well, smash the dislike button twice just to make sure you really got it. You know what I'm saying? And if I have not earned your subscription yet, I hope that I will in the near future as I keep on going and dropping more stuff. I will be making some videos on some other games I've been playing. I'm going to try to, mix it up a bit and do some things here. So thanks again, guys, for joining me. I'm your boy, Darth Shigong, And until I see you guys again, I hope to catch all of you gaming on the dark side.
Autonomy is an illusion.